We're not here to make up the numbers, we're here to compete as well. This squad, with the power they have on their day, they can do anything they want.
Hello and welcome to the Stourbridge FC Women's Monthly Press Conference. Today we are joined by Mike Harris and Sophie Heaselgrave. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Ready? Another week.
Yeah. Another dollar.
Still in good spirits, which is great. We're one game away from the halfway mark now, with the Huddersfield game last week being postponed. Obviously that's been arranged for December the 17th, which is great. Mike, how would you say the season is going so far?
Yeah, good. Crazy. Probably different to anything we imagined. We knew it would be, there'd be massive highs and massive lows, but they really have been really high and they have been very low at times. So we've navigated a lot of challenges. It's been a lot of fun at the same time. I think we were never complacent about the fact that we were enjoying so much success. And it's been nice in another way to have different challenges this season too. I don't think anybody thought we would win the league. And we're not going to, I'm afraid. Sorry, everyone. We've loved the challenge. It's thrown up so many different things that we didn't expect, but that's been the fun bit this year. There's a lot that we haven't expected, and we've had to overcome a lot as a group, and it's tested us massively, but we've enjoyed it. We've got a great group of people here. The club makes it fun, the fans make it fun, the players make it fun, so just enjoying the process.
A bit of breaking news from obviously today and last week as well. Amy Dickon and Lizzie Bennett-Steele have joined us after leaving Wolves and WBA. Let's start off with Amy. So she won the league 3 years ago with Wolves and 2 years ago with Wolves, and missed out last year just on goal difference. She's played over 50 times across all competitions for Wolves. Is it fair to say that she's contributed a lot to a very good Tier 3 side?
Yeah, what a talent, what a player. We've been a massive admirer of Dicko's for years. I think the good thing is, because women's football in the area is nowhere near the scale of men's football. For us, our game plan very early was to make sure that we understood the area really, really well. We knew everybody possible who was playing for anybody and everybody, and with all the times that we've played Wolves, we feel like we have a great understanding of their group and some of their quality. Dicko has always been one of those players who's been more than capable of playing for the level, and she worked really hard to try and battle into that group, and I think she decided that she wants to play, and I think that's fantastic for her. I think it's a really good decision, and testament to the fact that these lot just want to play. They want to play football. They want to play football with good people. Dicko was known to a lot of the girls in the group too, so she's come into training and fit in really, really well. And she's just the right character for the group. Unbelievable quality, really good technical footballer that can contribute in the middle of the pitch and up top as well. So very, very excited, very happy to have her. Can't wait for everybody to enjoy her football as much as we are at the moment. You just
answered my next question slightly just there, but where do you see Amy fitting into this squad?
Yeah, so I don't want to give too much away because we play Huddersfield in 10 days, but she's really versatile. She's very much a central player, and I think I've said it to everybody who comes into the group. We can have all the ideas about where you fit into other teams, but we've always been a bit of an enigma as a side. We've always had the odd curveball in us, so Dicko is going to be no exception there. We will find the best fit for Dicko in this team, something that builds on her strengths and allows her to show everybody how good she is, and express herself, which is what we want from her and the rest of the girls.
Lizzie Bennett-Steele is a breaking news today as of Wednesday. She's played for Stoke City, Coventry United and Bournemouth too, as well as just leaving West Bromwich Albion. Is she one of the most experienced players that we now have at this level? And is this why we've signed her?
Yeah, we're chuffed to bring Lizzie in. She is a phenomenal footballer, but more importantly, she's a wonderful girl. Like, so happy to be part of the club. So happy to, same again. She wants to play football, and there was no issues with previous clubs in terms of everybody I spoke to about Lizzie has nothing but brilliant things to say about her. She wants to play football, and that's the same again. You know, there's no question about her motives to be here. She wants to be out on the War Memorial enjoying her football. Her quality in training has been unbelievable, and just seeing the new faces settle in and contributing in training so quickly has been really, really exciting, and feels like we're hiding them away from you all at the moment because we haven't played at home in so long. But I'm really excited to see all of the new faces out on there playing together, and to show you guys some of the stuff that we're seeing on Tuesday and Thursday nights, because it is, you know, the quality of the football has been superb. So we're really excited.
You speak a lot about future signings being like the right fit for Stourbridge. What is it about Lizzie as a person that you think makes her a Stourbridge player?
I think you can tell. I think that the brilliant bit about our group is that we're so tight knit, and everybody is so positive. And I think I think if you're not the right character, you can spot it very quickly. Because Lizzie wants to play football, she wants to try hard. She wants to prove to people and prove to herself that she is a brilliant footballer, and we can all see it. That fits in really, really quickly. I say it to people all the time who come into the club. These girls don't care who you've played for. They don't care what you say about your own football. They don't care about what other people say about you. They will judge you and they will accept you based on how you act and what you do. So it doesn't matter where Lizzie's played before. It doesn't matter where Dicko's played before, or anybody who's joined the club. They will judge you and they'll accept you based on what you do. If you come into training and you show a positive attitude and you work hard and you throw yourself into being a good person within the group and contribute in the changing room, these girls will welcome you with open arms. And you can see it. You can see it as the moment that Lizzie came into training that we have a phenomenal talent on our hands, but somebody who dives straight into the group, is fun, is a bit silly from time to time too, but that's what we want. You know, that's what is going to get you through the tricky games and the difficult situations, and those tough away trips are so much easier when you've got the right people on the bus and people who work hard for each other. So very exciting.
Niamh Deasy and Alex Nicklin are the latest two departures from the club. Both played huge roles in getting Stour to where they are now. What can you say to the people who may be querying why these players have left?
Yeah, I think it's really important to note first that I'm not ever going to talk about individual circumstances. Everybody's is different, every challenge is different. Niamh and Alex have both had opportunities to go play somewhere else, and they wanted to take those opportunities, and I genuinely wish them all of the best. For us as a club, every single season I've been at this club, we've had to say goodbye to people. We've had to move on as a team and progress. Sometimes that's been our choice, sometimes that hasn't been our choice. But I think the most important thing to know from us is that, you know, we as a club will keep moving in the right direction. You can see from Lizzie and Dicko coming in that, you know, we are constantly working to progress and improve the group. But genuinely, I wish Niamh and Alex all of the best, and want them to do so well, and we will forever be fans of theirs, and I'm so grateful to them both for everything they contributed. It's never nice seeing people leave because, you know, as a club, I suppose the ideal situation for us at the start of the year would be keep everybody, win tier 3 and brilliant, we move on. But, you know, football is football, and the sad reality is that these are the kind of things that happen every single year. But genuinely, I wish them all the best and hope that they find, you know, real happiness playing football where they go next.
We speak a lot about identity. With so many incomings and outgoings this season, I'm hearing Stourbridge referred to as the new look Stourbridge. What 3 attributes, Mike, do you feel a player needs to be to fit that new mould of the new look era?
I don't know about new look, maybe new chapter, because a lot of what we're doing is everything we've done before. We're hard working, we're difficult to play against, we're in your face whenever we can be. You know, even when we've gone to difficult fixtures over the last month, we've probably played more football than we've ever played, you know, in the last 3 games than we had done for previous fixtures. And sometimes that's hurt us, sometimes that's, you know, made the game more competitive. But on the back of that, you then get a performance like rugby where we didn't sit and play counter-attacking football and hide behind the ball. We went out and we played some really good football. so smashed the individual passing stat for the team. I mean, it was something like 50 attempted passes by yourself that game, and they've been
successful.
Yeah, 40 successful. But you know, there were games where we'd completed 70 passes all game, and that for me is testament to the work we're doing. And we could have spent, you know, the last month sat there going, do you know what, we only lost 2-0 because we did this, and now we're going to go out and try and play really expansive football against other teams. But we really took something from the last month, and that was from rugby and Wolves and Newcastle, and there were some tough lessons in there and some tough days. But I said to the group at the start of November, which was the hardest month I think you could have possibly had as a Tier 3 team, you know, is that if we do anything this month, even if we come out with nothing in terms of wins and this, that and the other, we will learn something from it, we'll get something from it, and we will take that to Huddersfield and try and produce the best possible result. Because the long and short is, we know if you beat Huddersfield in a week and a half's time, it doesn't matter what happened in November, we are fully focused on our target, and that's our job.
Sophie, a little bit from yourself, just regarding the upcoming fixture against Huddersfield. How hard is it to adjust when a game is being postponed, especially of a game of this magnitude?
Yeah, it was. I was actually devastated. You build yourself up mentally, and we've been working towards it. Like Mike just said, the last sort of month, we knew going into it was going to be about. Obviously, we got a result, great, but it was going to be about learning something from every game, improving, getting game time, getting minutes, trying, you know, to play our football against really difficult teams, all in preparation really for this really big game that we had coming up. And Huddersfield was the target, and it has been the target for a while. So I think, I mean, definitely personally, I was really sort of pumped for it, back at the Warmore after so long. And I definitely wanted to get it in before Christmas, so I'm glad that that's happening, because I think that's really important for us, if we can get a result, to then go into the Christmas break with a bit of a sigh and a bit of a relax, and then ready to play everyone again in the next half of the season.
How big is this game, Sophie? Is it a must-win game?
I'd love to say no, to take the pressure off, and it's not a season-defining game, as Mike loves that term, but it could be at the same time. If we lose, or if we just get a point, it doesn't mean, you know, we're going to get relegated, or we're not going to pick up another point, or we're not going to beat them next time. But I think a win, on the other hand, could be very, very important. I think a win will have more of an impact on us than a loss or a draw, because I think that will be the push that we need. Whereas even a loss or a draw would also, I think, help us. It would push us, and we'd have a little bit more pressure on ourselves, but we would just have to work so much harder next time and learn so much more in that game. But yes, it's an important game, and I think we would be lying if we tried to say that it wasn't, and it didn't matter, because I think we all know that it does.
Last time we spoke, Sophie, it was this time last year in an environment just like this. We spoke about two things that pricked my ears. Your hobby was fitness and running, and the second was your defensive partnerships. How do you feel that your fitness as a hobby has helped you so far this season? And secondly, what are your thoughts on your defensive partnerships this season with the variety of players that you've played alongside?
So I think with fitness, as I said last time, I do enjoy doing it, luckily, because we do a lot of it at training, and we do a lot more this year than we've ever done before. And I think, like me personally, it's helped me keep sort of my place in the squad, because I've been able to compete. I think if you haven't pushed, I don't think there's anybody that hasn't, fortunately, but if people hadn't pushed themselves and kept fit, you have to take ability out of it, and you wouldn't be able to play at Tier 3 level, because even if you're an incredible player, because it's so demanding, the distances that we're covering at training on a Sunday, it's more than what we've ever covered. So I think it gives everybody a chance to fight. It gives everyone that basic playing field to then go and push themselves even further. And I think personally, we do a lot of defending in a lot of the games, more so than we have in other years. And I think to be able to play 90 minutes is quite demanding this year. And I know I have really struggled against the likes of Newcastle and Wolves. But no, personally, it's been, I always enjoy having that base level fitness, and then can improve on the specific aspects of sprints and changing direction at training.
And obviously, just your partnerships. Then, so obviously last year you was working obviously alongside Karen Allen and Neve Murphy and Sophie Levick. This year, slightly differently, playing in a back two and a back three. How have you found that variety this year?
I mean, I miss Karen and Lev. Obviously, Neve Murphy's still here, which is great. I miss them both for different reasons. They're very different players, and I wish they both were still here. But no, this year has been great. Obviously, like I said, Neve's still around, and we all know what Neve brings to the game, attacking and defensively. And Rosie obviously has come in, midfielder, now centre back, and I think that's really important because her composure on the ball is probably one of the best in the teams. She's been our most consistent player, I would argue. So I feel very, very comfortable next to her, and I feel very safe. And I think that's important because she was a new player coming in, and going against, obviously me and Lev played a long time together for most of the season last year, and I was very, very comfortable. So I think for me personally, I really needed somebody that was going to straight away make me feel comfortable with how they play, and she does, because she's very consistent, and I trust her with my life in the pitch. And then when we're in the three, I'm usually in the centre. I can be out on the right hand side as well, depending if we've got Big Mac in on the centre. And then we've had obviously Lex next to me, which was working really, really well. Lexi's great football, and again another midfield made centre back, and she drove us forwards up the pitch, and I think made that position quite unique as a attacking centre half. So that was really good, and obviously Lex has moved on because I think people have spotted how well she did it, and obviously we're still looking to replace that. I know El Butler's done a job there, played really well against rugby, but I don't know what's in their head over there, who it will be me. But any number of the girls that we've got could probably play there now, with the way that we've made that position as more of an attacking position. So it's quite exciting, and yeah, it's I think the back three's definitely been more effective against the teams we're playing this year than probably the four would be. But then we also know we can drop back into a back four quite comfortably, which is nice.
Mike, my first question to you here. Obviously looking towards the future now, we've got 2 games to play against Huddersfield, Fylde, Halifax and Liverpool Feds also all have to come to the War Memorial to face us here. How healthy do you think our current league standing is, and were you expecting this at this sort of stage?
I don't think we probably could have asked for a better start. You could go back to the Halifax game and say 2 points dropped, but if you knew the resource at Halifax and the investment there, you'd argue the point that probably we shouldn't be close. And I think overachieving for us in the last few years has looked like unbelievable FA Cup runs. It's looked like winning Tier 4 when we were probably top 4 candidates, you know, going straight into Tier 5 and winning that by 10 points. That in itself was, in many eyes, overachieving. And I think overachieving this year looks like we're 2 places above Albion, 1 place below Derby. Forest have lost 5 games. Sorry, Forest have lost 3 games and we've lost 5. That for me is a massive achievement. Not only that, we've gone away to Fylde, away to Halifax, away to Feds, and we've taken massive points from those games. So I don't think anybody can argue that we could have had a better start. I think certainly if you'd have offered me this position in August, then I would have probably ripped your arm off for it. So very, very happy. We know how good we are here. But in saying that, we know that teams want to come here and cause upsets, and actually it's getting to the point now where teams have to come here and they have to cause upsets, and that will create a really interesting dynamic. You saw how nervy it got here when Donny came here in March. It was a nervy game of football for both teams, and you're going to see some more of that, you know. And we spoke to the girls in training the other day about not trying to persuade yourself that there's not any pressure, but understanding it's going to be there and having mechanisms to deal with that, because this is a high pressure 12 games. The great part is we get to play 5 of our most 6 important games out here, which for me is really exciting.
Yeah, and in pre-season there was a bit of talk around sort of an ideal points tally come the conclusion of the season. Has that sort of stayed the same given our start to the season?
Yeah, one more than 11th place is my ideal. I think we're in that wonderful position where we don't actually have to look any further than Huddersfield at the moment. The roles could easily be reversed. We could be sat on 3 points. Huddersfield could be sat on 9 points, and nobody would be blinking, because I think that's probably where people expected us to be. I think people expected us to struggle more. I think if you'd have then said we'd have had a manager change, all of these changes in personnel, I think you've gone, well, they would be on 3 points, wouldn't they? And no, actually, in probably the most difficult period we had, we then got 8 points on the board. You go, we're in an unbelievable position. So we're in that lovely place where we only have to worry about Huddersfield. It is the only game that we've got to play in the next 2 weeks. Huddersfield have to play Forest midweek next week, which is a massive demand from them. You know, there's a massive thing that they have to plan for, and we can focus on our priority, which is Huddersfield, and then we get 3 weeks to focus on Fylde. And if you come away with 2 good results against Huddersfield and Fylde, I don't think we need to talk about points tallies anymore. I think we can focus on the next game and on ourselves.
Now a question for both of you. Bearing in mind we are now coming up to the halfway point of the season, what are both years' highlights throughout the first half of the season? Is there anything that stands out?
Well, you go first.
Thanks, Mike. I think 2 games. Actually, well, no, there's loads, but I think the main 2. Stoke here, 2-2. I think that was a really interesting game. There was a lot of emotions in it for certain players and coaches, and then for the rest of us, it was they're such a staple team in this league. They're very consistent, are very good, very strong, not really any weaknesses, and I think we just played together so well, and then Zoe Clark's goal at the end, I think, stands out for me. And then obviously the win against Albion, to get any sort of points was incredible, and to do it in the way we did it, in front of the fans, under the lights, I think that was very fun.
Yeah, Albion was really special. I think it's just one of those games that, in the same way that we speak about Derby and the result from there, and you know, we still talk about Lincoln at home so fondly the year before, you always worry when you go up that you'll lose those moments, and I just think it was one of those unbelievable moments. And we've been through such a tricky period. Same with the Stoke game. You know, somebody questioned the other day, oh, you know, there was 10 people on the pitch when you scored the goal against Stoke, and you know, I love that stuff. I think you can just see it and you can feel it, and I think this is what I think the fans see from the stands. You can feel the emotion in the group, and everybody's part of that. You know, from the girls want to do well for everybody, not just for themselves, but for everybody in the stands. And when they do get that moment, they're absolutely buzzing for it. And it's not every week anymore. You know, we're not winning every single week. We're not destroying teams. We're not. You know, there's games where we've turned up, we've played well, and we've lost 4-1. And you know, Burnley away, I thought we were brilliant, absolutely superb, and we lost 4-1, and that's part of the process this year. But I really think if you don't have the Fylde result, you don't get the Stoke result. If you don't have the Stoke result, you don't get the Albion result. And I just think from momentum, all of a sudden we got on a little charge, and you know, Stoke have become, with everything they've invested and full power to them, they've become one of those teams where you go to now and go, if we get points there, it's an upset. You know, we shouldn't, in theory, on paper, Stourbridge should not take points off Stoke. So for so many to have been involved in the club previously, for the emotions with people and everybody, it was a really special moment, and I will never begrudge any of the girls for wanting to celebrate moments like that and getting on the pitch, because that emotion carries on to the next game and the next game, and all of a sudden you get what we've got now, which is a bit of momentum, and we're ready to play, and we want to be back out there.
Mike, looking at the league as a whole now, and potentially even the Tier 3 South equivalent as well, has there been any changes, any surprises, with how the league is shaping up so far this season for you?
Not really, is the honest answer. I think, firstly, kudos to hashtag, because I think Jason and the guys there are doing an an unbelievable job. It is so hard coming up into this league, and I know the South is different and all of that, but I think he's doing a brilliant job there. We know, and I think it's widely known, that there are changes coming to women's football. We don't know what Tier 3 is going to look like as an entity in 1 year, 2 years, all of that stuff. There's probably 4 teams in our league who could and should be in the Championship. I think that's the long and the short. And I hope whatever changes allow for those 4 teams to go and play that football, because as a product, I think they're ready, and I think women's football is ready for the top end of the game to have more than 12 teams in the league. I just think it's the next step. And I think that being said, you know, it opens up all sorts of avenues. So, you know, a really competitive Tier 3 where everybody's, you know, somewhat on a similar level, I think is so important. You know, there is such a divide in the league between the top 4 and the bottom 8. You know, I find it is astonishing, you know, and to see that you're in the same league as Nottingham Forest is unbelievable. For us to be 3 places off Nottingham Forest is unbelievable, but those are very big steps for those 3 places. And, you know, I just, to see brilliant models like that is phenomenal, but it is hard at the same point to be in a league where, you know, probably that every point above you, you know, I was saying about Stoke, you know, how much would it cost to be on 13 points right now? We're on 9, and I think it would cost a lot of money to have 4 more points on the board right now. So the club's doing brilliantly. We are categorically overachieving. We were probably the big relegation favourites, and once again we've done that Stourbridge thing and run around and proved people wrong. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Some crazy challenges, but you know, I'm really proud of what we're doing, and I hope that those changes to Tier 3 come quicker rather than a long expanded process, which it is sometimes.
And what you've just said sort of rolls into the next question for the pair of you. We're at that point now. Do you think the team are now more customised to what the lifestyle is like as a Tier 3 footballer to what they were at the start?
You better do this one, didn't you?
I think so. I don't think we're there in terms of completely 100%. And I think it probably takes a few seasons at this level. But I think we get closer. I think fitness was massive. If you look at what we do, I think that's the biggest difference. Training with the GPS vests, we cover so much more distance than what we did last season. Games, we're definitely covering more distance. We're probably playing better football because it's against tougher teams. And everyone's done really well. I know everyone loved a little bit of a party and a drink last season and the seasons before, and everyone's done very well at cutting back and looking after themselves. Everyone takes themselves off to the gym. Everyone's working really, really hard, and I think everyone's recognising it's a lifestyle rather than just playing it after work or on a weekend. It's about what you put in your body all the week, food, drink. Yeah, and I think the experience as well of the girls that have played Tier 3, I think that's going to help as well, because we could all use them as sort of, I guess, role models and looking at where, you know, we could be playing hopefully a few seasons in Tier 3. But I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, no, so you bang on. GPS stuff is a really good indicator for us. So what was a high intensity session in August is now a recovery session. So the same stats, you know, what we do on a Tuesday is now as tough as what we used to do on a Thursday in the summer. So even the word recovery for us has changed. You know, the gym programs, the everything. The demand has been unbelievable. I cannot, you know, for every player who's been at this club this season, I cannot fault anybody, because what we ask women footballers to do at this level, to be able to stay in the league and fulfil the ambitions of their clubs, is massive. It's absolutely huge, and this is why the change room is so important. This is why who we play with is so important. This is why having great fans and a proper place to play and somewhere to come after the games is so important, because if you don't love it, you won't be here. You won't be here. You know, you have to give up so much of your lives to be here, and that's staff, that's players, that everybody. I mean, I have so much respect for everybody, every manager in this league, everybody who's working hard, because the hours that go in to be good, you know, just to be good in this league are ridiculous. And these guys are working 3-4 nights a week sometimes to cater for football. Their meal choices, their social life choices, they've all changed. And you know, I think as a club and as a sport, I think it's really important that we look after these girls and we recognise everything that they're doing, because you know, it's so easy to go, actually, oh, you know, we missed this part, we missed the coming back after the game, this, that and the other, but this is what we worked so hard for to get to this point. So we want to make sure that we take advantage of the opportunity. We want to reward the club for investing in us as a group, and there are some massive sacrifices that have come to that, but these girls and the players and all of the staff deserve, you know, all of the plaudits they're getting for how well they've done so far. And if you want to carry on enjoying the journey, we've had to bring in some faces who've been doing it for longer to really understand that, and they really are specialists. You know, they are absolutely aware of what is demanded at this level. And like Soph said, this is our first year doing it as a group. We're going to get better at it every year. But the other thing is the goalposts were moved at the start of the year. There was no full-time Newcastle in the league before. There was no hybrid model, you know, Nottingham Forest. You know, there's pro contracts at this club and pro contracts at that club, and we're just going to carry on muddling around and doing what we're doing and working hard, bringing in good people that fit for us, and hopefully winning more games at the Paul Memorial.
Mike, yeah, obviously, you know, considering the departure we've had recently, we've still got plenty of talented footballers around the club, also in the pathway as well. How easy do you find it, sort of, depending on what opponents we're facing, to, you know, pick players for certain positions and certain roles?
It's never easy, is the honest answer, Kieran, because sometimes there is more than one right answer. Sometimes there is no right answer, and sometimes you've got to kind of acknowledge the quality that's going on around you. Like I said, there's been games, i.e. Burnley away, where we played really, really well and we lost 4-1, and it wasn't their forwards who were unbelievable because we managed to keep them relatively quiet. It wasn't their midfielders, including the highest scoring midfielder in the league. It was their left back who then took over the game and played unbelievably well, and essentially I think won the game for them. You know, so you can do everything right some days and it doesn't work out, but that's also what makes it fun, because the pressure before was, well, you're expected to win. So now if you get it wrong, actually, you know, it's seen as you've messed up here. I suppose the hard bit is when you get it right against the Wolves, you might lose 3-0. When you get it wrong, you might lose 8-0. And that's, you know, and that isn't, you know, massive glaring details. It might be one thing you get wrong in a selection, and actually, you know, you're punished for it. But that is the quality of the league. That is the fun bit. We have to learn every time. I said to the girls, I don't mind losing as long as we get something from it. You know, we are not expected to beat Wolves. We are not expected to beat Newcastle. We will try every single time to cause the biggest upset we will ever cause, but at the same point we acknowledge it, and if we use it as a learning experience, then brilliant. I'm chuffed, and it was worth doing. And there's much more to each of those games, you know, that we can gain from. And they're the ones under pressure. They're the ones who have to come there and they have to win, or league title chase might be over. And make no doubts, all 4 of the top 4 want to win the league this year, so they understand the pressure they're all under.
Yeah, my final question to you, Mike, here. Obviously, 2 new signings in the past couple of weeks. Have you got any more tricks up your sleeve?
There might be one more Christmas present, but we'll see. We're in a really good place where I think our reputation has changed now. I think at the start of the season, rightly, people may have been worried that we were going to be the whipping boys of the league, and what is Stourbridge actually going to look like in Tier 3? How does that fit? And I think the girls have earned their stripes in the league. I think everybody has acknowledged where we're at as a group. The Burnley manager said she felt like everybody in the league could beat each other. I'm not as sure, but you know, I think at the same point, I think good people will attract good people, and I think as the reputation of the group improves, and it has done, I think you will continue to attract quality people like Lizzie and Dicko, and the girls that we already do have, and Sophie and everybody, they are improving every single week. We're getting better, we're getting used to the league. I'm absolutely adamant we will cause one more big upset here before the end of the season, and we'll see who that is, but no, we shall see. No surprises yet.
Highlighting on that, what you've just said about the big four in this league. Was there any out of the current top four did you find that you enjoyed playing out there on the pitch against between the pair of yous?
Enjoyed.
Well,
They're all enjoyable in their own way. Learning Burnley, especially the first 20 minutes. It felt good to go 1-0 up against a top 4 team, potentially league winners. That was fun, the 20 minutes. And I think it's always fun when you're playing against talented players, and Newcastle actually really enjoyed. It was a great experience going away, staying away, and on the pitch the scoreline wasn't fabulous, but I do think, you know, we didn't feel horrendous coming out of that game. We know we could have and should have played some more football and should have started how we start the second half, but it's all about learning what we can't get away with the top 4 teams. But you know, they are, as Mike said, there is a big gap between the top 4 and the bottom 8. So every time you play them, it is just trying to get what you can out of the game as a team, as an individual. So in that way, I guess it is enjoyable.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah.
yeah, and you've highlighted this previously. We've seen a lot of change in our new pathway section that has been chopped and changed over the course of summer and developed. How do you think the additions of Jodie Perkins, Amy Clement, and coaches that are experienced, your Dan Andrews and your Harry O'Neills, going to them, how would they expand for the future?
Yeah, the pathway has been brilliant. Really, really pleased with it. There's always stuff that, I mean, it's the same with the first team. There's always bits you look at and go, we can't wait to do this next season. We can't wait to do that. This is really exciting. But when we sat down, you know, last year and we spoke about what we wanted it to look like, we've done a brilliant job as a club, and Harry and all of the staff have done such a good job at kind of, you know, you're seeing the manifestation of that vision. You've got players, you've got 5 girls who played first team football in Tier 3. You've got a lot of very talented girls working hard. They've just brought in a very talented youngster from Calsa to kind of support those ranks too. So they're doing everything right. We're really excited to welcome Ryan and his under-16s into the section next year, because they are so ready to go, as you would expect under-16s to be. Having 2 female coaches in the pathway is wonderful. Jodie's still very much in a playing capacity too, but both phenomenal leaders, really, really good at what they do. And it's so important, as everybody's seen from having Tash with the first team this year, to have female leadership, because regardless of how good male staff can be, if you do not have female leadership in your group, you are missing out on a massive asset. So they're doing a brilliant job of bridging that gap for us, and not just bridging it and becoming their own people and their own coaches. Harry is taking his new role in his stride, done very, very well, and really owning it, which is what I wanted for him, and he's making his own stamp on it, you know, and he's developing as a coach. He's being challenged to lead. He's getting much more leadership opportunities, which is exactly what he needed. It would have been tough saying goodbye to the first team, but it's not goodbye, it's I'm over here supporting you in a different way, challenging you. The pathway scored against the first team the other night, which was brilliant. You know, we were chuffed for them, less chuffed for me, but chuffed for them. You know, and that's their job, and that's what they should be doing. Dan has gone across, and I heard him leading a session the other night, and it's just different over there. I mean, Ken Beresford as well deserves massive credit for everything, and Mark juggling duties at home alongside being part of the club is great. So I could name everybody. I'm so pleased with that half of the pitch, as we call it, because we all train together. They're doing a great job, and long may it continue.
And just a final one from myself. With 2024 just around the corner, what is the game or games that you are both most looking forward to?
I think for me, Fylde, I can't see much past Fylde at home on the 7th, because it is a massive game in the context of the league. It is a really exciting game for us to kind of put our real stamp on what we're gonna do to set ourselves up for the end of the season. In terms of marquee games, Newcastle at home is an incredible event. It may be the only time it ever happens, because they may very well disappear off into the Championship and the Super League not long after. And how many times are you ever going to hear Stourbridge versus Newcastle United at the War Memorial? So I think it's a real celebration game. I think it's a massive day for the club. But you welcome Forest here, Wolves here, Burnley here, and Newcastle here. And for us, those are great days to enjoy it. We don't have to travel God knows how many hours. You know, they've got to come to us. They've got to travel. You know, Newcastle are travelling down and staying in Leicester the night before. You know, so they've got a massive undertaking that weekend, and we know they're not looking forward to the journey. So, you know, it is for us to you know, be really proud that we've brought these games to the War Memorial, and then go and put on a little show if we can.
And how about yourself, Soph?
I think same as Mike. Looking forward to Fylde. I'm looking forward to playing everybody again, because we've now, well, hopefully the game's on against Oxford. We'll have played everybody, and we've learned what we can learn. And so I'm going to go for a bit of a rogue one and say Halifax, because being 3-1 up and then ending up drawing that game so early on in the season, I think we've come a long way in managing our second halves, and I think we've actually had better performances in the second half against a lot of teams. So it would be interesting. I know the scoreline won't go the exact same way, but just to go back up against a team that we couldn't, you know, hold on to a win, I think will be really interesting to measure where we've come from the start of the season.
Does it feel a bit better knowing that a lot more clubs have to come down here than as opposed to us travelling? Does it feel, in your own minds, does it feel like that's a big change of them having to come here and experiencing the War Memorial with the backing that we get week in, week out?
I think that's probably been one of the toughest parts of our Tier 3 start, is that actually we haven't had a very real start, in the sense that we have done every single possible horrible journey before the end of November. You know, we have run the gauntlet. The only journey now that is over an hour between now and the rest of the season is Huddersfield away in May. And we don't have to get onto a coach until May. I mean, that is unbelievable if you think about what we've done, and to be in the position we are off the back of that is brilliant. So, you know, we have run the gauntlet, and now it's time to be at home and enjoy being at home. So.
Josh, Kieran, thank you for that. Mike, just one last one from myself. We spoke a lot about Stourbridge today. How about you and your footballing journey this year? You're in a much different position this Christmas, year on year. Are you in a happy place personally?
Yeah, well, I'm worried it's a therapy session. No, I'm really good. Personally, I think one of the exciting bit for me was getting onto the A licence, which for me has been a massive target for years. It's really tricky when you talk about it, because coaching badges are not the be all and end all. You know, there is so much more that's important. Regardless of whatever badges Tash ends up getting, you know, she will be a phenomenal person to have around football. It's not the badges that is the be all and end all. It's so much more to it, being a good person. But for me, it's also the opportunity to get on the badge and have the A licence is an acknowledgement of kind of the 17 years of work that's gone into football so far. And as a 32-year-old coach, I suppose I'm a very young coach in the game still. So to get this badge, you know, and to be on the journey and to develop my own coaching processes and engage with other coaches and go to St George's Park is a brilliant opportunity. Alongside the PGC and a wedding next summer is plenty for this year, so I don't have to, you know, I'm ticking a lot of boxes this year in terms of personal development, but the best part is I get to do it with a group that I really, really like, and I get to come back and share all of this kind of hopefully new knowledge and develop the group from everything that I've learned. Spent 10 minutes on the phone to a coach before I got here, talking about supporting them as well and making sure that they felt like they were progressing too, which for me is part of the enjoyment. It's not just supporting the players, but making sure the coaching and the coaching staff and everybody at the club feels like they're progressing and moving forward. So it's a really exciting year. It's a busy year. So if you see me, come give me a hug. But
It's only chicken wings, isn't it?
But yeah, no, they're very happy, enjoying every minute.
Sophie, Mike, thank you for joining us today. The best of luck on the 17th against Huddersfield. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.